We need to paint this. I don't know what happened, but it's messy. So maybe we should turn it into art. Yup, this project was so big and long that I'm only now showing you. Everything went wrong. It's quite the journey. So let me take you back to the beginning. These are the drawers in question. I got them as a child, of course we have to keep them. But I don't know what happened in the move. There's water damage on the inside. The hearts are looking a bit discolored as well. There's staining on the outside. We need to sand everything before going in with gesso. This is exactly where we need to begin. You might have seen a little sneak peek of this project in the art studio makeover video. That's how old this is. I've wanted to show you for so long. It's been a little secret behind the scenes, but I don't know what happened with this project. I thought it would be simple. We're gessoing, we're planning, we're painting. I don't know what happened, but ultimately we ended up with so many hours of footage that now I'm taking you back to September. The gesso is done. I think it's time to make the design. Okay, so I think the best thing to do would be to treat it like a cardboard box. You know, this is just a simple sketch to get an idea. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, back, bottom. I popped photos on the Discord server to get some ideas from you guys. And Harper came up with the idea of doing conversation hearts, which I think are the same as love hearts in the UK. I think that's what we call them. That's where the inspiration for nostalgia came from. I grew up in the 2000s. For me, that's where nostalgia is. But also we want this tower stand to be different from the marker stand. So I'm thinking a portrait. For the 100 heads challenge, I attempted to draw Olivia Rodrigo and it didn't go very well. This one here, this is the reference photo, which just screams Y2K, is the inspiration for this piece. And if you want to see the 100 heads challenge or sketchbook tour, I'll leave both of those down below. This is the look that we're going for. I'm picturing a person and we don't really want the face on the bends because that's going to be very difficult. The question is, do we want it at the side because we're more likely to see the sides? I think possibly if we can pop a lot of the face here, there's going to be a flip phone. I think that would be good. Oh, look at this for a reference photo. All right, maybe it's a little bit big. Ooh, cover it by the hair, that'll be good. I think now would be a good time to do this sketch. We've got a halter going on, of course. Oh no, there's 4, isn't there? Because it's 9 and then like the hashes down here. We definitely need some big love hearts here because the back is going to be quite blank like it is at the moment because obviously the 2 big components are on the side. We could do 1 here as well actually. Blue. Then we go into the mint green. A proper lemon yellow could be really cool. I think Be Mine is the one that I remember. Oh, Marry Me, that's the iconic one. Alrighty, what do we think of the design? This is the most organized I've ever been for a project. We've got colors, we've got an idea. This is actually quite cool. We need to put this sketch on the tower. This might just be the most difficult sketch I've ever done. It seems so much harder than the first marker stand we painted. It looks like this. I'll pop the video below if you haven't seen. That was acrylic markers. This isn't. So we have to get the sketch right.
So ready to go and give up until you showed up. I'll never get enough of the way you.
We need lights. We've got a lot to do today. This is the tower. Grab the sketch because today we are painting. But what is the medium of choice? Well, it's actually inks. I want to try and paint this entire thing in acrylic ink. Now, spoiler alert if you're following along, we're going back to September. That means I do not know how to use acrylic ink. This is actually the taster for Inktober. And it all goes horrifically wrong, as you can see already. I guess for some reason I thought I would be able to add water to this surface that's been gessoed and sanded, and the ink would kind of look like watercolor. Yeah, that's what I thought would happen because it's ink, but it's not. It's acrylic ink, and this is not the right surface for that, but we're doing it anyway.
You make it so hard to leave, 'cause nobody knows me the way you do, and nobody wants you as much as I do, and nobody sees me in the way you do, and as soon as
Next up, we have 4 little drawers, which also means we have the inside and the outside. I underestimated how big this project would be. Technically, with the marker stand, the previous one, we did have a load of different trays. You know, there's a lot of sections. And I think when it comes to these 3D projects, that's the thing that's always underestimated. It's not just that you have a box and you're painting outside the box. You know, it's looking like this. And we've not even started on the details yet. We have hair and a face, but that base layer takes so long before you even begin because of all of those different sides. And I always underestimate how long these projects take. If you've ever painted something 3D, you will know the struggle, especially when it doesn't go to plan. The aim with this project is to make it different to the previous one. I want it to look like watercolor and not acrylics. Somehow. Moving on to the skin tone, and right now it does sort of have a little bit of a watercolor look to it, but you can also see the mistakes. That drip right across the forehead where the ink fell down. The problem is when we add a watery layer on top, it's not going to cover that. And at this point, the only way to fix it would be to add an opaque layer on top. This is acrylic ink, so the ink has set, but even when it comes to using watercolor, it's not really a forgiving medium. If you make a mistake, you have to live with it or change your plans. Right now, we're having to change the plans. What about these? These are the only opaque acrylic inks that I own. We don't actually have a white. There's a peach tint and a flesh. So I'm just layering it on top and hoping that it will be close enough to white that we can work with it and add a different color on top. But unfortunately, yeah, this is not it. As soon as we add white, we take away that watercolor look. It's already looking closer to gouache or acrylics, and not going to plan. These are actually the acrylic inks that I got in that huge Facebook Marketplace haul. £600 worth of items. We don't have a white acrylic ink, but there are so many different colors here that we're gonna try and make do. We're gonna struggle on. And I'm sorry that you have to witness this too. This is why I put off the editing for so long, because it's difficult. We are layering and layering and it's just not going to plan. The colors are not working. Doesn't really look like watercolor anymore. But because the surface isn't ready for watercolor, I think acrylic inks are the only ones that would really work. I have watercolor inks and I have India ink, but I'm not sure that they would stick to this surface. I am very much a beginner with ink, especially with this project because this is before Inktober. But if you know, let me know down below. Would watercolor ink and India ink, would they work on wood? I don't know. All of this is supposed to be hair and it's not really looking like it, but we're gonna add some more color. See if maybe it will look a little bit more like an ocean if we add green. We're working through it, okay? It's a whole process. And if you're enjoying it so far, why don't you go ahead and give this video a like? Hype, I believe, is a thing now. And subscribe if you haven't already. There's new videos every Thursday and Sunday, so you don't want to miss them. We still have a lot more layers to get through. You won't believe how much this changes as we go. A special thank you to the sketchbook buddies over on Patreon. I think we're done for today.
I don't usually cry at all, but why is it always close? Ranging from a movie scene to made up people in my dreams. The last time, if I recall, was a feeling of being alone. I don't know.
Would you look at this contraption? If we pop the tower down in front, I'm hoping this means we can add splatters. Since obviously we're going for a watercolor look, we need splatters. That's my thing. I like splatters. And they might just go everywhere and not come off because it's acrylics. Next up are these little hearts. Just need to pop a bit of paper underneath each of them because I really don't want to make a mess. This wood is lovely, it's so pretty. And if we got any paint on it, I don't even know how we'd get it off. Like, that is not forgiving. And whilst the first layer's drying, we need to try to fix this portrait with even more layers.
Where I'm going isn't far, but in case I go, no need to be stressed, gotta take it home. I really miss the shade of blue. Just take it slow.
I kind of hate the shape of the original eyebrows, so watch me make them even bigger and then regret it and then realize that we can't rub them out, so now they are just ginormous. But you remember the theme is Y2K, so they're supposed to be tiny. Ah! A little bit of uncomfy keeping us company. We've got a lot of separate areas to varnish. Okay, I've had enough. These flesh tones are not going light enough. Let's pop a layer of white down on every single heart. We've also got light yellow, light green. Just tone it a little bit. At this point, we are basically just covering it up and starting again. But they're not pastel. They need to be pastel. So I guess we're just gonna rewrite the words again. Try and make these look a little bit more like love hearts. The goal was to create this entire project using only acrylic inks, but since every single stage has gone wrong, at this point, I'll take it. Whatever we can do to make this look good, at this point we're gonna do it. But unfortunately those eyebrows cannot be saved. They're completely the wrong shape. It is nothing we can do about it. But by using acrylic markers, hopefully we can define those lines a little bit better. They are easier, they're more forgiving, and that's what I like about markers. But I was avoiding using them because I wanted it to look like watercolor and not really have these harsh lines. What can you do when a project doesn't go to plan? I guess in the moment you just gotta figure out what will get you close enough to your goal. And this is that. It's not what I had in mind. We've made a huge mess, but I think we're almost done. Calling it. We've got a lot of separate areas to varnish. This project has been crazy and such a battle with myself. Now that enough time has passed, I see it in the studio and I like it. And I'm so happy we did this project. But for the longest time, I kind of hated it. It looks messy, it looks chaotic. And yes, that is kind of the plan. The theme is nostalgia, it's Y2K, with the love hearts and the space buns. And the eyebrows didn't work. And what you didn't see is the months that it took going back and forth with this project. But even if it doesn't go to plan and you don't like it at the time, looking back months down the line, that's when your perspective can change. I'm so glad I can finally show you, because for the longest time I didn't want to. We all make art we're not proud of, and I always want to be completely transparent with you. So here it is, here's the secret project. Do you like it? Was it a success? And with that, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you back here on Thursday. Bye bye.